Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Coming in just a little bit hot, but I think I'm actually gonna be okay. I mean, I got a little bit of headroom in there, so long as it's not clipping, I think that's the important thing. Yeah, long as we're not clipping, that's the important thing. You know what? I just realized we got to do something in regards to the graphics, particularly when I'm flying solo. That way you guys can see me and all that good stuff. But anyway, you're checking out Wrestling with the Topics. It's your man Lee Sanders here. I'm actually flying solo this week just for this episode. I know a lot of you guys love this series. I've been checking out the views. It's slowly climbing on multiple platforms. I was also paying attention to the audio version of the same series for on demand and downloads. And everything's been picking up since we've been bringing this series back. So I definitely appreciate you guys that's been checking it out. But yeah, your man is flying solo this week only as Tammy is away doing a family retreat. She's doing a family retreat down south. I am not going to be seeing my baby again until I'm pretty sure she said Tuesday. So it's like, wait, I don't even get to see you Monday, like Monday night. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Tuesday. It sucks. It definitely sucks that I'm going to be flying solo for the next couple of days. Because, oh my God, let me tell you, over here, my number one, I wish, right, that you guys were here, is the fact that so where I live, I own my own home. And, it's part of a home complex, right? This whole complex just full of homes. And every single home has two parking spots. Now, the way that everything is laid out, because they've done rezoning off and on a couple of years. And the last rezoning that was done, soon as I come out of my door and I just look in a 2 o'clock direction, I've got two parking spots labeled with our home and everything. It's right there. And that's how the zoning works. It's all labeled, numbered. So, okay, this parking spot belongs to house number. And that's how it's done and everything. And we had these rude ass African neighbors that had moved in next door. I would say at this point, probably 4 years ago. And it just so happens the husband is a pastor. That's what makes this even hilarious. It just so happens he's a pastor. And so, but I think he's kind of one of those fake pastors, if you catch my gist. I think it's just kind of one of those, look, I'm going to do this because if I go this route, I'll be able to get all these free things. I'll be able to do this. I'll be able to do that. I don't see him as a legit. I see him basically using it as a means to an end. I think that's the nicest way I can say it without being too much of a heel or a dick about it, right? But anyway, this guy would constantly take our parking spots from the moment that him and his family had first moved in here. No common courtesy as far as knocking on the door, asking, hey, is it okay if we could, by the way, we're your next door? None of that crap. Just acted like shit was in his due, right? That's how the motherfucker was acting, like the shit was in his due. And this was on day one that the motherfucker moved in here. So you're like, oh yeah, this ain't gonna be good. And he would continue to do that. Now, just imagine you're working real hard. You got your piece of the American dream and everything. You've been busting your ass all day at work and you're tired. You're ready to come on home already. And as you're pulling up to your parking spot, your shit is occupied. There's like no worse feeling in the world than that, right? I know there's definitely a decent amount of you guys that can relate. Man, it's one thing if you're told ahead of time by a family member, oh, so-and-so is going to be coming over. And so you go, oh, yeah, da, 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 da. Okay, let me go find somewhere else to park, for a little bit till they're gone. But to know that, company and you got all that shit going down. Oh my God. So many a time he pissed off the wifey, definitely pissed me off, all that. And he already knows not to fuck with me because I finally, without cursing him out, I finally told him off. And, that pretty much was his, okay, let me not say anything to this dude because this dude don't play that. He tried to play it a couple of times with Tams, and Tams finally checkmated his ass and everything. And so, he's pretty much been, okay, let me just kind of leave these guys alone. So I say all this as a nice backstory, as a backdrop, to let you guys know that what he typically tries to do is after a day or so, when he kind of realizes, oh, it's only down to one car, so I can actually park here and I'll be okay. Nobody's going to say anything. That's how he typically operates. And I was telling Tams, I said, look, could you or your mom maybe leave a car parked here so I don't have to worry about the parking situation? Because I might just drop a motherfucker, okay? Like, I'm not trying to get in trouble while you girls are away. Because I will clock a motherfucker out. And, homegirl, hey, Danny. And, Tabs was like, yeah, let me check. I find out literally yesterday. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Like, why? Why aren't you girls leaving a car behind? And they're like, oh, no, because Mom's got to do her thing with her car. And then they want to use my car for going down south. Like, so both cars are going to be used? Like, yeah, I know it's kind of weird, but yeah, both cars are going to be used. Like, oh, okay. So I gotta double park like an asshole. That's what I'm gonna have to do. I haven't done it yet, but while they're away, I'm gonna have to double park like an asshole. Yeah. But beyond that, I don't mind flying solo for the next few days. Like, I would go on these family retreats, but Tam's, let me make sure I say this right. Tam's mom's longtime boyfriend / partner. I'll just say, I'll put more respect on it. Partner. Yeah, I don't get along with him. So, it's kind of one of those, and I have not gotten along with him day one. I haven't gotten along with him since day one. So, me and him in the same environment, that, same space, same time, that just wouldn't, no. So, but Tams is like, hey, look, maybe we can do a little side quest thing, 1 year. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm down with that. Previous years, the issue used to be having the free time at my end to be able to do it, because I would always be tied up with work and all that. And the 1 year where I have that flexibility where I can match and do all that, like, he's going. So it's kind of, and she understands. She's not making a big deal out of it. She understands. So while she's away for the next couple of days, I'm pretty much going to have the house to myself. I will probably get myself a nice big old box of pizza and be chilling, playing with my dogs. I got a little bit of home improvement. There's a little cabinet that I'm going to be building. So, not too bad. I got to say, not too bad. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys have been good since last I was on the air with you guys. This is a bit of an impromptu show because normally I drop this series on the weekends, but I know I'm going to be busy on the road this weekend. I'm going to be pretty tired as a result, because I'm going to be putting in an extra couple of hours on the road. So I kind of wanted to get this out in the open, get it out the way now so I don't have to worry about it during the weekend. Because last thing I'm trying to do is be so damn tired I don't even drop this show. So my goal is to do this show, get it out there as quick as possible for you guys to enjoy, and then, kick back and chill and everything. So, so that's the plan. That is the plan. Again, hope you guys been doing pretty good. So, look, check this out. Literally right before I came on the show. Anyway, right before I went live. How about that? Right before I went live, I had this interesting exchange with they were a potential advertiser. They were a potential advertiser. And can I just say before I go any further, appreciate our sponsors and advertisers. I really appreciate our advertisers and sponsors that work with us, because let me give you guys a pro tip. And I know I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. If you kind of peeked at the episode synopsis, I mean, that's not all we're going to be talking about. I just wanted to throw some shit together so I could just be throwing some shit together. But let me say this. In regards to our sponsors and advertisers, I sincerely mean this. This isn't me sucking up. This isn't me kissing ass in any type of form. I'm just telling it how it is. I respect and appreciate our advertisers and sponsors, because when the initial line of communication goes down, it's a filling out process. And it's a case where, okay, hey, look, this is what we're about. This is how long we've been doing this. Here's some of our analytics. Here's some recommendations as far as clients that we've worked with in the past that are willing to go to bat for us. Here's some samples of our work. Here's some of the pricing info. What exactly do you need help with? Can we review your products and services so we can try to make sure it's a good fit for our audience? I say all of these things, y'all, because I got a pro tip. This is coming from a veteran pro right here. I've been doing this since 2011. I cannot stress it enough. If you ever get a potential client that hits you up and they are desperately, and they say it in black and white, and they are desperately looking for sales, I want you guys to run the other way. I don't want you guys to take their money. I want you guys to respectfully and politely do whatever you got to do to no longer do business with them. If you ended up taking their money, but you still have their money, I don't care how you got to do it. Venmo, whatever that shit's called, Venmo, PayPal, Bitcoin, however you need to give them back their money. Give them back their money promptly. Because the last thing you want to do is put yourself in a position where you got their money, and then because their phone did not ring, or because they did not get one order online, that is how you can put yourself in a position where if that client wanted to be an asshole and say, okay, well, I'm not going to pay you, or I want my money back because my phone didn't ring, I didn't make a sale. So let me set it up for you properly. This isn't long-winded, but it's very, very important. Officially, welcome to Wrestling with the Topics. We're live in real time right now. So I can see you all that's dropping by, leaving stuff in the comments, all that good stuff. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in, or will be checking this out on demand. This happened. So proper context. Less than 24 hours ago, I get hit up by this proprietor. And look, this person, as far as I know, does not have an official restaurant because they're in the food business. This person does not have you go to this location, boom, here's the food, right? It's not like that at all. What this person does is they're making these burritos. It looks like they got a very, very small menu, right? And it looks like they're making this stuff out of their own home. And it seems the way they're trying to conduct themselves is basically they bring the food to you. Yes, they bring the food to you. Now, some of you guys are hearing that. You're going, wait a minute. In the day and age where we got Grubhub, we got DoorDash, we got Uber Eats, obviously, because they are their own business, they are their own, or trying to be their own business, because this is a youngin'. This guy comes off like he's probably in his 20s, maybe early 30s, okay? you got to split some of that profit. And if you already hurting for paper as it is, y'all, motherfucker ain't got time for that shit, right? You trying to maximize and keep as much without splitting it as possible. You trying to avoid splitting it, okay? So, this cat, we have somebody that stays on top of the emails when it comes to potential clients and all that. We actually have a separate email, not associated. I never promote it on the shows. We have a separate email that's a business account where we'll come across, oh, could you promote this? Hey, I'm trying to work with you. Right. So separate email for that. We have somebody monitor it. So friend of the family. So this person hits up, the friend and everything, correspondence goes down and all that. And pretty much they're told, okay, look, well, Lee's probably going to be working on the show in the next day or so. He's probably going to be doing a show. So, we'll forward all this information to him. He'll have what he needs and everything. And, we'll get the ball rolling and everything. So this was for a one-shot advertising appearance. Just a one-time mention, right? Now, I'm sitting down. I'm starting to get the show together, right? Now we go into today, right? Real time, right? Less than 24 hours now. Keep that in mind. Keep that in the back of your mind. So I'm literally sitting in front of the computer. I'm doing my thing. And my friend hits me up. And he goes, dog, are you getting ready to do a show? I'm like, yeah, why? Man, this motherfucker... Man, let me just hop on the computer real quick. Let me share with you some screenshots in Zoom. I'm like, okay, all right, sure. So I hop on. And this proprietor, man, were they thirsty. I've seen some rude correspondence in my time. But this shit got salty. And I said to my friend, I said, the hell did you do? It's like, I ain't do nothing, nigga. Like, I ain't do shit. I'm like, what? All right, so my man, the proprietor, little restaurant youngin', so he demands to know if we began promoting him yet because he's not seeing any sales. And my friend tells him, well, sir, you just talked to us less than 24 hours ago. I told you that Lee would probably be doing a show in the next day or so, for sure before the weekend was out. He literally got your information, just yesterday. If I'm not mistaken, should be sitting down today at some point to do a show. Like, I don't understand what's the problem. And the guy comes back, I need sales, I need money like yesterday. And my friend's like, whoa. So when my friend hears shit like that, that's like a red flag, because anybody that has been in the advertising promotion game, is all about the numbers. It's all about the more money you kick in for advertising, the better the results. And then not to mention, you got to have a product or service that applies to that respected target audience. I think when you look at what happened with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, which I find fucking hilarious, by the way, the whole Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson USFL, XFL, Army deal that was in the millions, and they were expecting for The Rock to be able to bring in new recruits for the military. And according to their respected analytics, working with The Rock did not bring one fucking recruit. Not one fucking recruit. When I hear that, I just go, whoa. Yeah, because America, nothing is more patriotic than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who hasn't served in the fucking military at all. Nothing is more American than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson saying, be all that you can be. Join the Army today. And you're looking at him like, motherfucker, why should I listen to you? You didn't serve? Like, what the fuck? How you gonna tell me go join the military? Like, to see you join the military. What the fuck, right? Hilarious. Hilarious. And if anything, they lost what was supposed to be a net gain. They actually lost recruits. What's the number that's out there? I think they had like a defect of 8 to 12 people that say, yeah, I don't want to join the military anymore because of basically, well, I don't know if it's the Rocks Association, but that's just hilarious that on one coin, no recruits, and then on the other coin, no, if anything, we had we hit red, right? And they were paying in the millions for the Rock to post XYZ number of posts in regards to the military. I don't know. It was like some weird number, 6. I'll say like maybe 10 posts that The Rock was supposed to do for military. Just go on his little social media, phone, whatever, tablet, desktop. So it could be 3 a.m. and Rock wakes up scratching his balls, and he could easily just go, "Oh, Rock's got to put out a tweet," and right, plain and simple. He only put like 1 or 2 out of whatever, 10, whatever. And that was it. So now you got this whole lawsuit thing that's going on. Fucking ridiculous. Go look it up if that's your first time hearing it. It's fucking hilarious. So and I'm looking at this email exchange, this message exchange, and the guy's like, my friend handled it right. He's like, hey, look, we don't normally, press Lee. If he says he's going to do a show, on this day or within this time frame, unless something weird happens and, maybe due to an emergency or health reasons, he can't do it. It's on point. You can take it to the bank. He's going to do it. Sounds like, and my friend was very honest, like, it sounds like you are desperately in need of sales. Not sure what your financial situation is, but we always try to tell people, as far as advertising and promotion goes, if you're looking for sales, like, we understand, but you really should not be going into this with the mindset of, I'm going to get guaranteed sales working with this person, because what you have, for instance, is a very particular niche that is for a very particular group of individuals living in a very specific neighborhood. And we had checked all those boxes beforehand, which is why we were like, yeah, a local native from the DMV. Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead. Let's try to help them out. Let's try to put some brand awareness, on them and all that. Yeah, let's try to help them out. Let's hook them up and everything. So the motherfucker comes back and real salty, real nasty to my friend. And I'm seeing all this. And I tell my friend, I say, yeah, just go ahead. Give them back their money. Give them back their money and, tell them, look, this obviously is not going to work. Like, no, not interested. So that's what my friend did. Meanwhile, I couldn't help but notice, because I decided at that point, let me go do my own investigating. Let me see what this is all about. And it's like, how are you going to, riddle me this, how are you going to call yourself a restaurant? Okay, I've dealt with people over the years. I've actually befriended people over the years who operate kitchens out of their own home. They have a Facebook page. You can find them on Google Reviews, Google Maps. They have a dedicated website. They've got a social media presence, even if it's a case where they maybe only have 5 followers. They've got some type of a social media presence. You feel me? These people, and I'm glad we didn't work with them. Because this motherfucker, I got to be honest, if you were to tell me that maybe this was somebody that was potentially in the drug business, I wouldn't be surprised, right? If they was trying to run some shady shit or whatever, like I would not be surprised. This motherfucker, no social media presence whatsoever. No social media presence whatsoever. Nothing on Google Maps, nothing on Uber Eats, nothing. Nothing. Now, if that don't look like a red flag, I don't know what is. So, pro veteran tip, because I know a lot of you guys happen to do your own podcast, or you got a friend or family member that's in the podcasting game, right? And you're trying to figure out the whole advertising promotion game. Learn from what I just gave you guys. Take that, smoke on that, and keep that in the back of your head. Always put yourself in a position where, okay, you know what? Visibility. Yes. Okay. I'm able to see all these things about them. I verified, right? Don't just be taking somebody's money without double checking and making sure everything is on the up and up. And the other point too, in regards to that, always put yourself in a position, learn from that Dwayne The Rock situation. Now they're going to have to settle one way or another. The Rock and his people, they're going to settle that out of court. Make no mistake about that. Military, the army, they're going to get their money. The military going to get their money from The Rock and his people. Without a doubt. So always put yourself in a position where, okay, look, can't say we didn't do XYZ because da-da-da. And we've been fortunate but this was the first time that we've ever experienced something pretty spicy and salty, because, we've been working with all different types of clients since 2011. Right down to the point, I remember when I was at college last semester. I can't wait to go back, by the way. I got a couple more weeks, then I go back. I can't wait. But I remember I was talking with one of my instructors about how I've been able to bring in advertisers over the years and all of that. And, they were trying to pick my brain. And at one point I actually had, spent a couple of minutes talking to the class, giving them pro tips and all that good stuff. And, a lot of them have found it to be very, very useful and all that. So I ain't telling you guys something that I don't practice myself. You feel me? That's how I always roll. When I always, put some advice out there to you guys, I'm following that same advice myself, right? Because at the end of the day, especially when you're your own business, like what these people either are trying to be or pretending to be, that social media presence, and whether or not an individual wants to admit it or not, they're trying to be in some form a social media influencer. And you've got good social media influencers that's out there. And then you've got bad social media influencers that's out there. I'll give you a good example another good example of a bad social media influencer. You guys that have social media, have you seen the video that's running around of the black guy and the lobsters? If you haven't, let me set this up properly, and it's worth going out of your way to check out. I was looking at this video the other day, and I was dumbfounded, and I was irritated. And I was pissed off all in one, believe it or not. So you got this brother who is at this, seems like a nice little fancy restaurant. Like it's not the way it came off, it wasn't Red Lobster or, oh, hey, I'm just going to walk into it. It seemed like maybe it was part of some type of a casino resort, kind of a lodge thing or whatever. But apparently they had a all-you-can-eat lobster. Now, first of all, speaking as somebody that many, many years ago when I was, we're talking over 20 years ago. God, I'm dating myself here, but it's the truth. We're talking over 20 years ago. A much younger Lee used to work the Seafood Roadshow at Costco. And I would, anything seafood, I was your man. Anything seafood, I was your man. I weighed the son of a bitches. I put the price tags on them, the whole 9 yards. I would put the seafood in the tanks, chilling on ice. I'd put that shit on the forklift, on the pallet, get a forklift, I would do all that. Excuse me. I did all that shit. And even way back then, I could tell you, most expensive thing I got is my lobsters. My lobsters and my snow crabs. And my king crab legs. Those are my most expensive. So why this, why these guys had an all-you-can-eat lobster where people could just... You got me. They need to fucking change that because that is stupid. You are literally losing money. I don't care how much it costs for a plate. You could tell me it's $80 for a plate, but it's all you can eat lobster. You're losing so much money. Like, no, it doesn't compute. Not when it comes to that type of seafood. So anyway, this black guy, he keeps going back and he's grabbing the lobster food. And apparently he is a social media influencer, or at least he's trying to be. Now, look, I'm not going to take anything from him because I don't know his metrics. I don't know his views and all that other stuff. He's probably a successful social media influencer. But in my personal book, he's an asshole for the simple fact a manager comes up to him and is basically trying to tell him, hey, you can't operate the way you're operating right now by continuously going, grabbing the lobsters and, you got to finish your plate first. Then if you're up for it, you still want some more, then go back and get yourself some more lobster. But you can't keep, going to the table, grabbing lobsters, without eating them. That basically was the whole point of this employee. And you got this wannabe social media influencer just going off the rails on this guy, being very condescending, exploiting the loophole. Show me where it says. I mean, he is just... I'm watching this, and as you're watching this, you'll be right there with me in real time. You'll be going, dude, why are you being a dick? Like, this manager is literally on point here. It's like, yeah, why are you taking all of this seafood to your table? It's like you're not even eating it. Like, what the fuck? Wait, though, guys. It gets worse. It gets worse. So after this bad social media influencer, pretty much, gives the riot act, the condescending riot act to the manager and everything, they then help themselves to the back of the kitchen where they trashed all the lobsters that they had. And you got the people in the kitchen area, sorry, you're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be back here. All that stuff. And you're looking at the sensationalism that this guy is causing everything. Now, in his own admission in this whole video, it's a very short video. It's like about, God, it felt like an eternity, but it's about, I think it felt like an eternity because you're just watching that poor manager and you're going, damn, my dude, it sucks that you got to go through that shit. Seriously, it sucks that you got to go through that shit. But it feels like it's probably an eternity, but it's actually 20 to 30 seconds of a video. And this influencer says, hey, the lobster was banging. It tastes really good. Don't agree with the price, though. He's taking his digs at the manager and he's trashing the lobster. I couldn't help but look at that and shout out to my guy, Chef Reacts, because that's how I initially saw it. I saw Chef Reacts commenting on it and I'm going, whoa, wait, what the fuck is... I'm like, And I know a thing or two about seafood since I used to sell them. I'm looking at this and I'm going, yeah, no, we got to throw up the flag here. Foul. I guess any and everybody will do whatever for fucking clicks for that fucking engagement, huh? I just looked at that and I just said, man, not fucking cool. I hope that wherever he was, I hope that they got surveillance footage. They were able to get pictures of him and all that shit. And I hope that they ban his ass. If he hasn't been banned already, I hope that they're about to ban his ass. Because that type of behavior, you see, it's a catch-22 sometimes, right? It's a double-edged sword when it comes to trying to be a social media influencer. Because you have good social media influencers. You know, they do it right. They're doing the product reviews or whatever it is they're reviewing and everything. They do it right. And they will continue to be asked by that potential client or because of how they conducted themselves. And ultimately, a social media influencer, what are they trying to do? They're trying to network, right? Ultimately, they'll catch the attention of, hey, we saw your work. Hey, we'd like for you to come and do your thing with us over here. Or well, what do you say, right? You know, you do it right, then, yeah, you'll be okay. You will be greatly rewarded. But then there are bad social media influencers who not only are doing a disservice, but giving the other social media influencers that's doing it right, just that whole industry, giving it an entire black eye. Just, you know, and I need for aspiring social media influencers, hell, even veteran social media influencers, to look at that instance that occurred with that guy in the lobsters and use that as a blueprint for how not to conduct yourself as a influencer. It's one thing if, okay, look, I was at this place and man, the customer service, it was just so damn bad. Like, if it wouldn't be a thing if I looked at that video, if we all looked at that video in question and the manager that was talking to this guy was being an asshole. You know, he was wagging his finger, you know, belittling the guy, you know, talking down to him. Like, it'd be one thing, but the guy's being very respectful, very polite. Whole 9 yards. You couldn't ask for anything more. As far as I'm concerned, I'm looking at that guy. I'm going, yo, you handled yourself good. Yeah, I'm going to put an extra couple of dollars in your check this coming week. That's how good this manager did. Yeah, no. You know, it almost reminds me. I was out on the road earlier this morning talking about, you know, bad service, good service, being in a position of influencing and all that. So I was on the road. I go to this Sheets. And I decided, you know what? I need me an iced coffee or something. I'm thirsty. I kind of got a sweet tooth. So I go in. And man, I don't know if they normally have the amount of people that they have working in the kitchen or what, but, you know, basically you had two people that was making all the food. It was just two women. They were making all the food. I'm looking at them. I'm going, okay. And apparently they had a third person who was working on the lattes, coffees, tea, all that stuff. So I get a Reese's peanut butter cup, iced latte or whatever. Those of you that know your drinks, you know exactly what I'm talking about. First time trying it, gotta say, I wasn't that impressed. Best thing about it, honestly, for me, was when I got to the broken Reese's peanut butter cups at the bottom. And I was able to just take my straw, stab them bitches, put them in my mouth. That honestly was the best part. The latte sucked. It wasn't worth, I don't know how much it is in you all's neck of the woods. But for me, I paid almost $7 for this. Wasn't impressed. And that was for a medium. Wasn't impressed. But anyway, as I'm sitting there, I'm watching, the cooks, waiting on my drink. Which took forever, by the way. Like my drink, because nobody else was getting a latte, a coffee, a tea, nothing. I was the only motherfucker. And yet, here I am waiting almost 15 minutes for it. Now, before anybody asks, this was after 2 in the morning. After 2 in the morning. Okay? So anyway, I'm watching the cooks. It's 2 women. It's an older white woman, I would say, or probably Mexican. If not a white woman, it was definitely a Mexican woman. I would say, God, she looked like she was in her late 50s, maybe early 60s. And this young black woman, I would say, probably in her mid 30s. I see these 2 kids come in. And as I always tell my wife, friends and family, as I always say, if you want to know a person at their core, if you want to know how they really are, see how they interact with children, the elderly, the disabled, and pets. That will tell you all you need to know. I watched these 2 young teenagers come in. They probably were 14, 15 years old, right? They walk in there. They see the sister that's, making the food and everything, and they're, patiently waiting, and they try to ask her after, a few minutes of being ignored, they try to ask her, hey, we had ordered some food. About 10, 15 minutes ago. We were just wondering. And she went belligerent on them. You see me working on the food here, don't you? Obviously, I'm working on multiple orders. Y'all ain't the only ones that's waiting on food. You see all these other people that's sitting here waiting on food. You ain't nothing special. You gotta wait just like everybody else. My mouth dropped when I looked at this. I felt like, because after that I looked around and I said, shit, are we on an episode of Undercover Boss? Because I'm just literally waiting for the CEO of Sheets to reveal themselves. Because this was like, whoa, what the fuck? The kids were petrified. They were already petrified. You could already tell they were intimidated. You could already tell they really did not want to talk to this woman, but they wanted to know what was going on. Yeah, Muhammad. We know. That had went down yesterday. Yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk a little bit about it. I don't know if I'll bring it up on this show. I think I'll probably, if I don't bring it up on this show, I'll probably talk more in depth about it on the on the next show. On the next show for sure. But yeah, for those of you that don't know, by the way, in regards to wait, what's going on? Muhammad in the chat, in case you guys don't know, yesterday is when it was officially announced. But Roman Reigns' uncle, Arthur, had passed away. So I actually was online. I'm trying to think. I think I don't know exactly what I was doing, but I remember getting a notification going, okay. All right, cool. Because normally, unless it's with this particular series, when it comes to wrestling with the topics, in case you guys don't know the pattern by now, usually we stray away from wrestling topics unless it's something really, really major, or if a rare occurrence happens where it's a solo show and maybe I kind of feel like, or it's one of those, okay, we're taking listener questions, and somebody goes, hey, how do you feel about the passing of, or, what kind of one of those things, then it's kind of, okay, I'll go ahead, I'll tackle it. But I'm seeing these kids petrified. And then I'm watching this woman lambaste them the way that she did. I made eye contact with them, and I just kind of shook my head, and, and luckily somebody had came along, and I guess whatever was supposed to be theirs, they finally got it. They were able to roll out. And I just was like, okay, well, at least they got their stuff. But I just couldn't help but, this goes back to the whole influencers, right? Being influenced. I couldn't help but go, okay, I'm waiting 15 minutes for a latte. I'm seeing how these employees are treating some of the customers. I don't care how old the customer is. I don't care if it's a 14-year-old kid coming in there, or if it's a person in a wheelchair, or if it's a senior citizen. I'm paying attention. Oh, you're treating them like shit? All right, so let me see if I got this straight. I'm waiting 15 minutes for an iced coffee, and ain't nobody else waiting on anything over in that section. If you've been to a Sheetz, you know how it's broken down. Like, okay, yeah, no. You should have that drink in about 5 minutes tops. Especially if and ain't nobody else getting a drink over there. 5 minutes tops. So you got to be waiting 15 minutes. I'm watching you treat customers like shit. And the drink that I got ain't even on point. To my point, it ain't even worth the $6 to $7. What you think gonna happen, y'all? Motherfucker probably gonna go, yeah, you know what? I ain't gonna shop here. No. I'll go elsewhere with $1. Look, I'll get better treatment at the McDonald's, right? Or insert whatever you want to insert, right? But there are good influencers out there, and there are bad influencers out there. That's the whole thing. But I really, really need for those that are inspiring influencers, those that are even veteran influencers, I need for them to really, really look at the world around them, how they interact, how they see folks interacting, like what I just described. And always try to strive for better. Always try to strive for better. That's the name of the game, man. That's the name of the game. So, boy, that was wild. That was wild. I tell you. I could not believe that I was seeing all that play before my very eyes earlier this morning. Hey, at least the Reese's Cups was good. Again, that was at the bottom. At least that was good. Wifey had got me this really cool thing. I have a unboxing video that I'll share probably before the weekend is out, because when you guys see my reaction, it's pretty cool, right? I mean, I'm not overly animated or anything. It's legit reactions, but wifey got me right before she went out of town. She got me this really cool Macho Man Randy Savage Slim Jim statue. And it looks like it's a holder too, so I guess I'll be loading it up with some Slim Jims in the near future, right? But it was cool because a few days ago she goes, there's something I want to get you, but I don't know if I should get it, and I kind of want to pick your brain on it. And I said to her, well, is it something that I'll like? Is it something I'll actually fuck with? And she goes, yeah. I said, okay, well, you know what? Surprise me. Like, I haven't been surprised in a good minute. Go ahead and surprise me. You sure? Like, yeah, go ahead. Surprise me. So, later on that day, hey, were you able to get that thing? Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Did you want to give it to me now? No, why don't you eat first, and then we'll do it. You're going to need to do an unveiling. Like, wait, what? Yeah, you need to do an unveiling. I want to record you opening it, so we got to do an unveiling. We're going to do this tonight? Yeah. I'm like, okay. I am completely drained, by the way, because I had already been on the road for a handful of hours, and I only had like a hour really to rest up, and then I was going right back out. So I'm going, oh, now I got to do an unveiling. But I'm like, I can shake this off. Like, I can shake it off. It's no problem. So, yeah, fast forward. And I go through the whole unveiling and everything. And you guys will see. Badass. I love it. And I see, she didn't really go through when you see the video, there was certain information that she gave, and then there was certain information she withheld, and I understood that. But the information that she was giving, like, she said some really good stuff after we got done recording, and I'm going, oh man. And I even told her, I said, you should have shared this with the audience. Like, what the hell? But because it was fun. I like the inner workings and all that. So she was telling me after we got done recording that the person she bought the Macho Man Slim Jim figure from, they're into all types of knickknacks, right? This is their 24/7 job, and they've been doing it very well for years now. They're their own proprietor, okay? And they've got a online presence, right? Kind of similar to what we were talking about at the start of the show and everything. So she was saying how, and I thought this was a really good backstory, because I remember saying to her, oh yeah, didn't we try to get something like this at the Cracker Barrel? Didn't you say you saw something like this at the Cracker Barrel? And she goes, yeah, it wasn't the one that you have now, but it was something that was kind of similar. And when she was talking to the guy that sold her Macho Man, he was like, oh yeah, he's like, those type of places, let me break it down for you in case you don't know. People go in there, they see certain, decors, and, they want to buy them, obviously. And, it's not for sale, but, if you happen to be friends with one of those people in there, typically they do some shit under the table. They'll go, look, just give me $20 and it's yours. And that was the running gag with some of the wrestling decors that was happening at places like Cracker Barrel or non-wrestling decors. Hey, just give me $20 and, and it's yours, right? All that type of shit. And for the Macho Man display that I have, like, people are just buying these from this guy. I mean, one guy bought because apparently, and I did not know this, but apparently there's like 3 different versions of this Macho Man Slim Jim figure. 3 different figures. If you guys got Twitter, just hop on Twitter real quick at the RCWR show. You can see a picture of me holding it. You'll see what I'm talking about. But there's 3 versions. One guy bought about 20 of the bandana version of Macho Man Slim Jim, from this same guy. And obviously, he, gave him a discount since he was buying them in bulk and everything, right? So, hang on a second, guys. All right, I'm good. I had to take my medicine because I kept procrastinating there. Anyway, I'm going, wow. And she got it for a steal. She got it for a real steal when she told me the price. Actually, she never told me the price that she paid, but what she did tell me was she was aware that online people were commanding as high as $300. $300. And she saw some where some folks wanted 150, 175, close to 200, but some are actually commanding $300. And it's like, whoa, that's highway fucking robbery. Like, ain't nobody got time for, And the guy was cool. He was like, look, if he's a big wrestling fan and all that, obviously, let him know. I've got the Macho Man bandana one too. if he's interested. And I looked at the pictures. I'm going, yeah, you know what? I like what I got, because I got the red hat version and all that. The one that we all grew up, mostly seeing, that iconic Slim Jim look. So I found a spot for it in the man cave because I'm going, where am I going to put this thing? Where am I going to put this thing? Finally found a place to put it. And now I'm happy. Did you guys see the stuff that is going on with Friends co-star, the late Matthew Perry? This has taken a serious turn for the worse. When I first heard about this news the other day, I'm literally going, my God, this is shades of Michael Jackson and his respected doctor. For those of you that did not hear about this, Variety was among the first to break this news. Whoa, what the hell is that noise?
How do you sleep at night?
On a mattress from Mattress Firm.
What the hell?
I sleep.
we got interrupted there by a mattress Fits commercial there. That's hilarious. But no, Matthew Perry's death, apparently doctors, Matthew Perry's assistant, and several others have been charged in a drug investigation that basically revealed a criminal network. So if you guys did not hear about this, smoke this for a little bit. So 5 arrests so far have been made in the drug investigation into the death of the Friends star Matthew Perry. The Department of Justice, they ended up putting out a press release on Thursday that their investigation so far revealed that there was a broad underground criminal network, including Perry's assistant and doctors, who took advantage of the doctor by selling him ketamine. This network included a live-in assistant, various go-betweens, 2 medical doctors, and a major source of drug supply known as the ketamine queen. I mean, this is just what the fuck. This is just what the fuck. So you got, in the case of the defendants, you got a doctor by the name of Salvador Placinha and drug trafficker Jasvin Sana. Together, they worked with Dr. Mark Chavez, Perry's live-in assistant. The doctor Mark Chavez. Then you also have Perry's live-in assistant named Kenneth Awamasa and a broker named Eric Fleming. All these people obtaining ketamine and selling it to Perry. Just what the fuck, man? Just seriously, just disgusting. Floored when I hear this. Really stop and think about that for a second. This man would probably still be with us today if he had the right circle of people in place that truly was looking out for his safety, his health, his overall well-being. Matthew Perry would still be with us today if he had the right circle of people. When you are, let me tell you something. When you are struggling as a recovering drug addict, it is vital that you have the right type of people around you that are truly all about your best interests, which is staying clean. To just think about the manipulation that was going on and how this guy Perry just blindly was, whatever vices he might have kicked in the past, he basically was trading them for another. And that ketamine, that is some very strong shit. Now, typically ketamine Ketamine is given for depression and all that. It relieves the symptoms of depression. It's a very fast acting depressant. And those depression symptoms that a person can have, oh, it eases that away for hours. It relieves that person of those depressive symptoms for hours. But that feeling that one gets, the effect that it has on the body, it can be so addicting if you're not careful. That is one of those drugs. Look, take it as prescribed, and that's it. Right? You can't do that shit like, oh, my back is hurting today, or I need to take an extra ibuprofen. No. You can't do that. You can't do that with this one. You can't do that. You can't do that with this one. Oh my God, that is just, I gotta tell you, I had shades of not just Michael Jackson, but I don't know how many of you guys were fans of Carol O'Connor from All in the Family and In the Heat of the Night, the TV series. But remember how he lost his adopted son. He lost his adopted son due to drugs, and Carol O'Connor, he eventually hired a private investigator to find out, okay, who was selling drugs to my son? More specifically, who was the last person to, give my son drugs that essentially killed him on that fatal night? If you don't know the whole story, it's worth going out of your way and researching, because Carol O'Connor, he took the drug dealer to court. And he also, Carol O'Connor, went on to become a very big advocate and having the laws be restructured in a way where, okay, look, if the result of death happens because of this person enabling by giving this person drugs, and they need to be prosecuted, it's worth going out of your way and researching. But I was reminded of those deaths. It's just sad. It's just disgusting to hear this. It really breaks my heart too. Because let me tell you something. Back in the day, yeah, I mean, I tried to watch Friends. I remember being a teenager and I was watching Friends, and I liked them, but it's so funny. I liked the series. I liked the cast, but I remember when Living Single was on. We are living single in a 90s kind of world. I'm glad I got my girl. Keep your head up. What? Keep your head up. Man, that was my shit back in the day, man. I resonated so well with everybody on that series. I resonate so well. I couldn't tell you, Muhammad, if it's the beef one or the pork one. I just know it's the Macho Man statue with the red and yellow. But if you're asking me what my personal flavor is that I like to eat, long as it's a Slim Jim, I don't give a fuck. Or as long as it's a beef jerky. I like beef jerkies. It's funny. My wife, not a fan of beef jerkies. She'll come across certain ones that I'll say, oh man, you got to try this. It's actually pretty good. And once in a while, she'll entertain me and she'll take a bite and she'll go, that actually is pretty good for beef jerky. I don't care for it, but that's actually pretty good for beef jerky. I'll give you that one. She's like, yeah. I love the beef jerkies that come with the cheese. I love those because that's, especially when you're on the go, you need that protein going and all that, right? But nah, man, Living Single, oh man, that was my show. That was my show back in the day. I love that. I connected more with the cast of Living Single than I did with the cast of Friends. That's just the truth. And it ain't no race thing. I don't need no motherfucker, Lee being racist is like, hello, are you looking at the show logo? Do you see my wife? That's a white woman. Like, don't even know. Literally, the way I would always operate, even as a kid going into my teenage years growing up, when I would watch certain TV shows, I always tried to find that one thing, that one theme, or maybe that one character, or that one show where I go, you know what? Okay, let's say this was actually real life. And I'm walking down the street, like, can I see myself actually befriending this person, socializing with this individual? And see, with the people on Friends, I don't know how you guys felt. But when I watched Friends, I felt like I don't really have any connection with these guys. I just kind of feel like I'm that odd kid in high school that's sitting in a corner by themselves watching all the cool kids, basically the Friends cast, do their little thing. And I will never be part of that circle because, I'm not cool like them. Whereas when I watch Living Single, oh my God, like Overton, Maxine, all those people I could fucking relate to. I could see myself, hey, what's up? Oh, let me help you with that, right? Like, that's just me. I teach it so, but, that's just me. So, but Matthew Perry, when I would watch the show, Matthew Perry, I felt, man, he's got a great look about him. I could see him being a really big Hollywood star. And, if it was, he was a bad boy way back when. He was a bad boy way back when. A lot of people, they always go, hey, look at Robert Downey Jr. and everything that he was able to overcome. Matthew Perry, same side of the coin. He tried early on in his career. He tried to do a couple of movies here and there, but, man, those drugs was kicking his ass. This is a guy, make no mistake about it. This is a man who has been battling with some type of substance abuse for decades, off and on, for decades. I would love to know, and hopefully maybe it'll come up in an interview, but I would love to know Robert Downey Jr.'s reaction to this newfound information about Matthew Perry. And then also, I don't definitively recall, forgive me if he has said it, because if he did comment, I don't know anything about it. I'll have to actually research it. But I wonder if Robert Downey Jr. actually said anything in regards to the initial passing of Perry. Because I'm curious his whole thought process and everything. Because, literally almost two sides of the same coin. Literally. But just the wildest shit, man. Just the wildest shit. So you got that crazy thing that's going on. Also, something else kind of noteworthy. X-Men 97. I cannot stress it enough. If you guys have not begun watching that series yet, you guys need to stop faking already. And you need to watch that damn show. It is worth. Let me tell you something. Very seldom will I say to you guys, spend your money. Spend your money. Go do this. If you have not checked out X-Men 97 and you got some downtime, do it. Do it before your schedule gets crazy. You will easily be able to binge watch on all the episodes and you will love them. You will love every single episode. You will enjoy yourself so much that you will go out of your way to probably rewatch them all again for a second time. I promise you that. That's how good it is. It's picking up Emmy nominations left and right. Okay? Spend the $15, $16, $17 for that 1 month. Binge on those. Do whatever you got to do. I'm hoping that this shit gets put on DVD. Like, I want to own this shit. That's how good this series was. But some new information kind of coming out a little bit here in regards to X-Men 97 creator, executive producer, showrunner, Beau DeMayo. Marvel is now, because, for DeMayo, there's always been this, well, what's going on? Why was he unceremoniously fired? Like, what's going on? What did he do? And you would always hear these hushes, these little whispers. A lot of people going, oh, well, he's got an OnlyFans. Well, that was shot down real quick because, he had his OnlyFans account for years prior, and it was still active. Like, no, that's not it. Nope. What else you got? Like, people were just drawing, whatever conclusions, just throwing shit up in the air, hoping it'll stick. But Marvel is now saying that Beau DeMayo was fired for egregious misconduct after he alleges Disney stripped credit over gay pride posts. So Marvel Studios issuing an official statement stating that X-Men 97 creator and head writer Beau DeMayo was fired from the series in March 2024 for egregious misconduct. Studio released a statement shortly after DeMayo posted on several social media accounts claiming he was stripped of writing credits for the show's second season because of a gay pride post he shared to social media. Marvel saying, given the egregious nature of the findings, we sever ties with him immediately, and he has no further affiliation with Marvel. Source with knowledge of the investigation said evidence was discovered of sexual misconduct and that DeMayo repeatedly violated his termination agreement, which led to the removal of his credits for season 2. So in case you guys had missed it, a night or two ago, DeMayo posted what appears to be an image of himself shirtless, and he basically was spoofing Cyclops. And he had the caption, firstly, I'm so grateful to have worked on hashtag X-Men 97, collaborating with some amazingly talented folks. Creating this revival was a dream come true, and the support fans have shown is so touching. However, I felt it pressing for me to speak up in wake of leaving the show. So, you can see the artwork in question from what he posted, and you're like, okay, hey, nothing really wrong with what he's sharing here, like, okay, cool. Actually, it kind of gives me, when I look at it, I'll be honest with you guys. When I look at it, it kind of gives me He-Man vibes. DeMayo goes on to say, above is X-Men fan art I posted on Instagram for Gay Pride in June. On June 13th, Marvel sent a letter notifying me they'd stripped my season 2 credits due to the post. Sadly, this is the latest in a troubling pattern I suffered while working on X-Men 97 and Blade. Later that night, DeMayo posted a response to Marvel's statement on social media, linking to, a Variety article basically saying the truth will be revealed. So, yeah. That is what's going on here. This is, I said it, and it's kind of funny because I commented before all of this had went down. I commented on social media in the days prior, I wish once and for all we would know what's going on here, because to have this mystery up in the air, it's just, well, why wouldn't you continue to work with this guy? Like, what the hell is going on here? And it was interesting, some of the responses that I received, because some people were going, it's amazing how people are still obsessed and they're hot over. And I'm thinking to myself, well, first of all, I'm not obsessed. I can't speak for everybody else, but I know for me, I'm not obsessed. I can sleep just fine at night. Like, it's not one of those, I got to know, like, if anything, if you want to get me at what's my I gots to know, I'd like to know what actually happened with Amelia Earhart. I'd like to know what actually was the thought process of John F. Kennedy Jr. when he flew that plane, that sad, tragic night that not just took his life, but took his wife's life and took his sister-in-law's life. Like, I want to know what his thought process was and everything. Because I just watched an episode of how it really happened with Hill Harper on John F. Kennedy Jr. I highly recommend you guys go out of your way and watch that episode. It's a two-parter, but the way they break it down, you're just going, whoa. Say what? I learned so much from that I did not know when I experienced his passing in real time. But like, shit like that, like, I got to know what really happened, right? Like what really happened? Mysteries like, what happened to Jimmy Hoffa? Was the Irishman as close to an actual depiction of what potentially really happened to Jimmy Hoffa? Like, shit like that constantly pops up in my head. Right? This whole shit with, Beau DeMayo, I'm good regardless. But the fact that now you got a little bit more stuff coming out there, and Marvel's going, wait a minute, before you all even try to get triggered and say we hating on somebody because of their sexual orientation and all this other stuff, let us say, hey, we let this motherfucker go because of his sexual misconduct. Now look, I hate speculating, but it's right. That's why you're here in part. You like the speculation, right? If I were to speculate, or if I were, just pretend we're all talking about this, right? We're at a bar, we're just shooting the shit. I'm going to tell you my thoughts. Just my thoughts. How you want to look at it is up to you. But when I hear stuff about, hey, the way this person conducted themselves, no, we're not down with that. I can't help but wonder, okay, so was this a case where DeMayo was coming on to certain people and those feelings were not warranted, right? They weren't, it was going one way, but it wasn't being transmitted the other, right? Was this potentially borderline Kevin Spacey-ish in the way that he was conducting himself? Yeah, like, these are the questions that you have to ask yourself. Because if you're dealing with somebody that is almost like Prince, the musician, and they're striving for perfection, they can be difficult to work with because they want the absolute best. They're a perfectionist, man. And well, if at the end of the day, this person is an asshole, they're a perfectionist, yada, yada, yada. But if at the end of the day, they're putting out a fucking hit, you're going to give them that leadway. You're going to give them all the rope that they need because you want them to continue to have that winning formula of success. Just the truth. That's just the way society works. That's just the way society works. So I believe he would still have a job. And I've always felt that, okay, if he was being that much, he easily would be brought back into the fold for X-Men 97. But the fact that now we're hearing it definitively from Marvel, no. I hear sexual and misconduct. Like, whoa. So something is going on there, and you just can't help but wonder if you're Beau DeMayo. You can't help but wonder, like, what is his end game here for continuing to, he keeps saying, the truth will be revealed. The truth. Okay. Are you under a gag order? Because if you're not under a gag order, then quit teasing and just put it out there already. Otherwise, it's coming off as if you are just continuing to try to have your 15 minutes of social media fame. You feel where I'm coming from? It almost kind of feels like the way that he's trying to conduct himself. This is just the optics from a distance. I could be wrong. But it feels like he's continuing to put himself in this interesting circle, potentially in hopes of Marvel slipping up. Because, see, you can't help but wonder, is there some type of a gag order that's in place? Why everything isn't being laid out? Is Marvel trying to do right by this guy and say, look, we'll just be hush-hush about this. Let's just keep it rocking and let's just keep it moving along. And DeMayo keeps fucking it up. And it's essentially backing Marvel into a corner. And this is why they're doing what they're doing. But Marvel has to be very careful how they conduct themselves here, because it could go against whatever was agreed upon, especially if shit was written. If shit was written between the two parties and essentially you have a breach of contract, you got to look at it like that. You got to think about shit like that. To be continued. But I thought that was kind of interesting, what was going on there with that one. So, but yeah, make no mistake about it, I'm definitely going to be getting that on DVD if and when it's ever released. Happy birthday to Halle Berry. My God. Fine ass Halle Berry. Biggest crush. Halle Berry. I cannot believe she's 58 years old. She turned 58 a couple of days ago. I cannot believe she's 58. I mean, she looks fantastic. Time flies. My God. Time really flies. When I just think about all the movies that I've seen her in, my all-time favorites, me personally, the movie fan in me, I loved her in Boomerang as Angela, 1992's Boomerang. Oh my God, she played that role so well. Boomerang, that was such a great cast, wasn't it? I mean, seriously. Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy, Halle Berry, Robin Givens, Martin Lawrence, David Alan Grier, Grace Jones, Chris Rock, a very young Chris Rock, Eartha Kitt, John Witherspoon. I mean, everybody was everybody in that freaking movie. Everybody was everybody in that. Like, one of my all-time favorite black movies, man. One of my all-time favorite comedies. One of my all-time favorite dramas, because it's also part drama as well. But Holly nailed it big time in that one. Loved her in that one. Trying to think what else. Oh, I can't forget about Monsters Ball. I cannot forget about Monsters Ball. That actually was another one where I'm watching her performance and I'm going, damn, this girl is kicking ass. Kicking ass. You knew, though, the minute that you had watched I'm trying to think. I think the two movies that definitively said to me, you know what, she's going to be a staying power in the Hollywood industry for decades to come. I think for me, it was Jungle Fever. Because didn't she play like a crackhead in Jungle Fever? Wasn't she opposite of Samuel Jackson's character? I almost kind of feel like that was the case. I could have sworn she was a homeless person in Jungle Fever. See, now I got to go back and check that out. But for sure, Jungle Fever and Boomerang. I said, oh, she's going to be a force to reckon with for decades to come. Like, bank on that. And, man, if you didn't know her name by the time Monsters Ball hit in the early 2000s, I mean, I would think Swordfish would have done it because, remember, Swordfish, a lot of people forget, Swordfish and Monsters Ball came out that same year. I know a lot of people want to go, oh, Storm, X-Men, nothing really memorable for me in regards to that. I mean, anybody can stand in front of a green screen, white eyes, white hair. Like, anybody can do that, right? But for me, it's, okay, no. Definitively, what has been like, okay, this was good. You did fantastic in this role. And I just named you a couple. You know what? She was also good in Die Another Day. I definitely got to give her props in that one. Die Another Day. She was good in that. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff that she did, but you also had some bad ones, though. You also had some bad ones. Of course, Catwoman, 2004's Catwoman. Oh, my God. And it was nice seeing her comments about Catwoman. Did you guys peep that? She recently talked about Catwoman. And it's so funny because I remember when that movie came out, I remember how me and my friends were just like, first we were excited. We were like, oh, man, Halle Berry's going to be Catwoman. Oh, man, she's going to, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. And then when the movie came out, we all had the biggest frowns on our face. It's like somebody laid a sour, wet fart. And we were trapped in a vacuum of some type. And it was like, right? I remember saying for almost decades here. Yeah. My God, almost 2 decades. I can't believe that because like the movie came out in 2004 and here we are in 2024. Yeah, because they just celebrated their 20th anniversary. My running joke for Halle Berry's Catwoman, yo, that's softcore porn. Put that shit on mute and just watch Halle Berry. And then that's, there you go. Your night is good. Your night is good. But she recently opened up about Catwoman, being very reflective on it. She was on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. And she talked about how it's found a whole new audience and that she disagrees with critics that pan it. She was quoted saying to Jimmy Fallon, she loved it. I mean, it got panned, the critics, and it sucked balls. That's not that bad. I've gotten worse reviews, and balls aren't that bad. Yeah, okay. Okay, keep telling yourself that. Keep telling yourself that. What I'm happy about is that children have found it now on the internet and they love it. So it's so vindicating because now they're saying it's cool and what the heck was everybody's problem with it. So I'm like, I'm so brat now. People have freedom to discover it on their own without a reminder of what critics have said. She said this in an interview with Entertainment Weekly back in July. Younger generations don't know why. I'm sorry. I'm trying to read this with a straight face, but I can't. Younger generations don't know what was said about it back then. They discover it on their own and enjoy its merits without being mind-led to think a certain way. When asked whether she'd reprise her role in the future, if I could direct it. Yeah, you know what? I remember when Catwoman came out back in the day, and I didn't rely on no movie review websites and all of that to see. I relied on my own pair of fucking eyeballs, and I said, this shit sucks. And I was that respected, targeted audience. So, hey, I don't know. That kind of sounds like one of those maybe. Oh my God, now that would be interesting. Ooh, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna get Tams, and I think in the coming weeks we're gonna do a live watch along of Catwoman. Yeah, we're gonna do a live watch along of Catwoman and reflect on it, right? Like 20 years later, like, okay, is there merit here with, okay, we can understand a new audience peeping this, watching it, and hey, yeah. Or is it still shit 20 years later? That would be a good one. That would be a good one. Hey, so apparently when I turned on OBS today, there was a update. Remember how you guys were checking out some of the streams off and on the past couple of weeks? And we would be on, my God, it would just happen so random too. All of a sudden, the live stream would just end. Well, apparently when I opened up OBS today, they said that there was an update. And when I looked at the notes for the update, apparently they became aware of an issue where if you were using certain RTMPs, you know, to basically resyndicate your stream through multiple outlets through OBS and everything, they were aware that there was a bug that was shutting off the streams abruptly at random times. So apparently they, as part of the patch, that was just one of the patch notes, but apparently they had tackled that. So it's kind of nice to see. It's also another reason why I just decided to come on live right now is I wanted to test out this patch, this new update, and it seems like we've been holding up pretty good so far. So I'm going to continue to knock on wood. My table is literally made of wood. I'm knocking on it as we speak, that we are on point for the rest of the streams here. So that's good. That's good. So what else can we get into before we get ready to wrap it up here? I see that I see that Deadpool and Wolverine is continuing to break numbers left and right. Fucking fantastic. I've not seen the movie yet. I'm doing my best to dodge online spoilers. It's gotten to a point now whenever I see someone has posted something, Deadpool and Wolverine, I just go, I don't mute the person, but I go, I want to see fewer posts from this person on social media. I just go that route. And it helps me. I know some things, but I'm still in the mindset of I'm just going to wait for this to come out on DVD so I can really enjoy this in the privacy of my own home, since I got a really great sound system that I set up myself. Got a big ass TV. I got a 72-inch screen TV. So it's like, don't get no better of a home theater than that, right? So some interesting news. A little bit wrestling related. Tony Khan has expressed his belief, not disbelief, belief, that WWE continues to engage in contract tampering. He recently, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but he recently did an interview on the Dan Le Batard show where Khan stated that he does not think the issue has stopped and that he will reserve all rights when it comes to addressing the matter. So obviously with this, it has sparked a debate among wrestling fans, wrestling media outlets, as far as, okay, is Tony Khan really making some valid points here? Is he making some valid claims here? Or, what's going on here? Is it just coming down to healthy competition? Like what essentially is going down here? I know this is something that Tony Khan has said off and on for a couple of years now. It damn sure doesn't help to see reports being put out there that the Lucha Brothers are said to be going to WWE when their AEW contracts expire. I know there were a lot of people that spent about 15, 20 minutes talking about this whole thing, specifically with the Lucha Brothers. And if you guys recall, I dismissed that so fast because my whole thought process was, so these guys are still under contract to AEW and yet they're negotiating with WWE. That does not bode well for anybody involved in that. And I told you guys way back then, you might have not liked the fact that it was so short and sweet of an answer, but I said to you guys in my initial response to that news, wait and see. Wait and see approach. But it doesn't help seeing reports like that float around. It definitely doesn't help when, if you're Tony Khan, man, I lost Jade Cargill. I lost Cody Rhodes. I lost Brandy Rhodes. I lost Ethan Page. I lost Brian Pillman Jr. I lost CM Punk. I lost, insert. Right. The optics wise, yeah, you're seeing this. And if you're Tony Khan, but then you look at the others that, see, this is where it's a slippery slope. I will push back just a little bit. Is it contract tampering when that respected wrestler, whatever contract they signed, is it contract tampering when that wrestler has fulfilled all their dates, when they fulfilled all their obligations, and a new deal has not been inked, and pretty much the final day after they are legally bind to that employer, they're able to negotiate with whoever, wherever? Is it really contract tampering afterwards? No, right? It's not. Hey, my contract expired yesterday. I'm talking with these people. I'm talking with this person. I'm talking with that. Like, it's not contract tampering. Obviously. My whole thing is, you got to be careful here because this can be a very dangerous, slippery slope. We're talking about slander. We're talking about defamation. Where is your definitive proof that WWE is doing some form of contract tampering? Because that's a pretty bold claim to put out there. I said it several weeks ago, and I will continue to say it. I believe that part of the reason we're seeing this new era in WWE, where they're working with different promotions on the independents, they're working with TNA Wrestling. They're taking a lesson. They're taking a cue from what went down with MLW. And even though WWE did not take it all the way through court trying to get a win. MLW said it best. Just the fact that WWE had settled, that is some form of admission of guilt on their part, and hey, we'll take it. So, I honestly believe two things can be said that's true here. WWE is looking at the MLW situation, and okay, let's make sure we don't put ourselves in that position again. Let's really try to, build bonds, build relationships with some of these promotions that's out there. Put brand awareness on them. And also at the same time, if we could eventually get ourselves into a position where, maybe certain stars, maybe we can get a look at them, and if we somehow eventually, get them to come on over, work with us, hey, great. But also at the same time, we need to put ourselves in a position where can't nobody say that we're doing some form of contract tampering. This is so multi-layered. This is so, I'm like this. If you have an inkling on something, don't speak about it out loud. If you think you might have somebody dead to rights, if you think somebody, I smell some foul shit here. There's something bad going down here. Can't quite put my finger. Don't broadcast it. Just quietly, I'm going to put my best team on this. I'm going to put my best team on this. And we are going to nip this in the bud. I want you guys to collect all the... And it makes Tony Khan come off very bipolar from this standpoint. So you keep saying these things, and yet you continue to say, I would love to work with WWE. Oh, I'd love to do a super show with WWE. WWE is the Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling. Oh, yeah, I would love to do a super show with WWE. Like, you can't keep taking these shots. You got to be one way or the other. You can't keep taking these shots at the company. And then also at the same time, hey, I want to work with you. Like, it doesn't work like that. It does not work that way. You're going to be one way, you got to be that way throughout. That's it. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Even behind closed doors, you got to be that way. Unless you are at home and you're with your significant other, then you can truly just be yourself. But as long as you're continuing to give interviews and making yourself accessible to whoever else is on your roster, like, you got to be one way. That's my best advice to anybody. If you think there's some foul shit that's going down, don't broadcast it. Be quiet. Be strategic. Get your proof. Get everything lined up. And then when it's time to fucking lay it down, boom, you got a motherfucker dead to rights. I tell you, like, he's got the right people in place as far as good PR people, but it's like he's pulling a Trump. He just says what he says, and yeah. He just says what he says, and it's like, dude, why did you say that? And it's almost like, well, because I can. Like, okay, sure, dude, whatever. Shout out to my girl Jessie Jones over at WoW. Looks like WoW Women of Wrestling are filming a boatload of episodes as we speak. I am checking out some of the support that is coming in for... Okay, so you guys gotta correct me here, because did a third person in the Anoa family pass? I know Roman's dad had passed. I'm seeing a lot of today we lost. I thought he passed yesterday. So which one is it here? Let me definitively look at this here. Because I remember yesterday I saw that. Hang on, guys. Let me just pull this up real quick, because it's much like what had went down with, who was it that had died recently, and we talked about it. Kevin Sullivan. For some weird reason, everybody was going, oh, he was 74, he was 74, he was 74, he was 74. You saw a lot of copying and pasting, and it was, no, 75. So let's see what's going on here. Let's see here. Okay, so Afa. Wow, are you guys serious? But I thought there was a passing yesterday. I could have sworn there was a passing yesterday. WWE Hall of Famer Afa Anoa'i has died at the age of 80. Apparently, Dave Meltzer broke the news on X, claiming confirmation from the Anoa'i family. Leaves behind his wife, Lynn, and 7 children. Yes. That's why I'm remembering the name. Yeah, reports of Afa's death had spread the night before, based on a social media tribute from his son, Samu. Okay, because I was about to say, God damn, like what the hell's going on here? Afa, for you old school wrestling fans, I mean, depending on, when you started watching wrestling and everything, but really everything began in the early 70s. Remember, Afa got his training from Rocky Johnson and Peter Maivia, High Chief Peter Maivia. And then from there, Afa started teaming up with his brother Sika, Wild Samoans. Pretty much everything was history. Go back to Stampede Wrestling. Definitely you go back to the NWA territories. I mean, they were tearing it up. They joined the WWF in the late 70s. They were managed by Captain Lou Albano. They captured the WWE tag titles in the early 80s, defeating Ivan Putski and Tito Santana. They're working Mid-South. They returned to the WWF. By then, it was called the WWF, defeating Chief Jay Strongbow, Julius Strongbow. They even had a third stint in the WWF in the 90s. Something involving the head shrinkers, from what I remember. After his initial retirement, Afa only worked a handful of matches, and rightfully so. But this will surprise you. This will surprise you guys. The last match that he had, the absolute last match that he had, was in 2014. From there, opened up his own training. Actually, both of them, Afa and Sika, they opened up their own training facility. And my heart definitely goes out to the Anoa'i family. Definitely. I can only imagine what they're going through right now, especially Roman Reigns. If you're a fan of Roman Reigns, or you're a fan of that family in general, like, I can only imagine what they're going through right now, because it's one thing, okay, we had this loss. Then a couple of weeks later, boom, you're hit with another loss. There really is no comfort in when somebody passes. because you never want to say goodbye. Let's be honest, you never want to say goodbye. But you can take some form of, what's the right word I'm looking for? You can take some type of knowledge, and you can take to heart that, okay, this person wasn't ripped away from me. I didn't lose them in a horrific accident. Father time just caught up with them. It was their respected time. So you can take some type of little solace in that. It's not really much, but still, when you lose somebody, you feel it. You definitely go through the motions and all of that. I still find that I struggle with it. I mean, look, I know for some people, when you lose a pet, anybody that says to you, when you lose a pet, it's not the same, they're an asshole. First of all, they're an asshole. Let me tell you something. I remember when I lost Maggie earlier. Sorry for the dogs barking. They're playing, by the way. I'm just going to let them do their thing. We're almost done anyway. But I remember when I lost Maggie a couple of months ago. It was the worst feeling in the world. And the sad part, kind of relating it back to the Anoa family and everything, the sad part in losing Maggie, my wife and I, hell, our entire family, we watched Maggie's health decline in 2024. We were already on the slow decline, but it really started to decline in 2024. And all we could really do at that point was, well, let's try to make her as comfortable as possible. And she would have good days. Some days she would want to play with, then at that time it was just Chloe and Holly. So, sometimes she would play, and then other times she just wanted to chill in a corner somewhere and just be left alone. She would spend more time that I personally had cared for sleeping. And then when she would wake up, she'd be at the water bowl for what feels like 20 minutes to walking around in circles. Then that increased. I mean, it was just, wow, and we had already decided that, okay, let's do what we can to get through this final month. And then, we'll do the right thing by her, and we'll help her go to the afterlife. Boy, let me tell you something. I will never forget two things. That's very true. I will never forget those final hours before she ultimately passed. And two, I'll never forget her in general. I still find myself, even though it's been, several weeks now, I still find myself thinking about her. Even my wife's, time to time thinks about her. Sometimes I think I've seen her staring at me in the hallway. Sometimes late at night, I'd swear I could hear her snarling. She would make this little snarling sound when she was trying to clear her throat. It's like sometimes I swear I could hear it. They say, ghosts visit you. Certain ghosts visit you. Especially if it was a situation where there was a really great bond. There's a really great relationship. They say sometimes, Ghosts from the past will visit you. My whole point, it's not easy. It's not easy. Even when you have someone that's up there in age and it's pretty much a case of natural causes, like it's never easy. The only thing you can really hold on to at that point is the memories that you have of that individual. And as long as you're continuing to embrace that, they'll live on forever. And it's true. It's very, very, very true. So my thoughts definitely go out to the Anoa family. Boy, I would imagine them going through the motions. It's got to be a fucking understatement right now, man. Got to be a fucking understatement right now. Let's see. Other than that, I like that it's been a relatively quiet week. Not really much news out there. And that's actually a good thing. That's actually a good thing. I'm just taking a look one more time. I know they got Rampage tonight. I'm dreading watching that shit. I'd rather be spending that hour on the road, but look, it's all good. So for those of you that might be around later tonight, hop on over to 401 Mania website beginning at 10 p.m. I'll actually be on there providing live AEW Rampage coverage. We've got a really good community that's over there. I love those guys big time. They are totally fucking cool. You usually have like the same folks that pop up, and everybody's busting each other's balls, just having a good time watching the show. Matter of fact, what is the card for Rampage tonight? Now that I'm thinking about it, let's see what's going on with that. All right, so here's the lineup for tonight's Rampage. We got the Conglomeration taking on the Outrunners and Butch. Top Flight will go up against the MXM Collection. Meanwhile, Kip Sabian takes on Nick Wayne. Wait, I thought Kip Sabian was a bad guy. What happened here? Nyla Rose will be in action. Roosh and Kyle Fletcher will be in action. And apparently we're going to hear from Saraya. So apparently this is going to be almost a tag team edition for Rampage tonight. I hate tag team. I got to tell you, of all the things that I don't like covering, I can't stand tag team matches. I don't like tag team matches, especially if I'm not familiar with everybody name-wise. Like, I can tell you right now, I'm just looking at this. The Conglomeration. Like, I couldn't tell you. I'm trying to think who the hell is in the Conglomeration because there's so many damn teams running around that I would actually have to Google that real quick to see who the hell is the Conglomeration. Let me see here. Let me see AEW. Hang on. Because I'm curious now. Who the hell is the... Oh! Orange Cassidy and them. Yeah. Okay. Oh, my God. So you're going to have another Rampage that's going to open up with the Orange Cassidy theme? Oh, man. That's going to be Groundhog Day all over again. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Hey, before we get ready to dip out of here, hey, I want to show some love to our sponsors. Make sure you guys show them some love, man, because content like what you're checking out right now would not be made possible. First off, I want to give mad shout out to one of our newest sponsors. Shout out to my people over at Street Fits. Learn more by visiting streetfits.printify.me. They're a family-owned clothing company from Austin, Texas. They specialize in urban, anime, video games, and pulp culture-themed clothing and accessories. I was on their site literally the other day, and I showed it to the wifey, and I said, look at this site. Look at what these guys got. These guys, you girls are really tearing it up. Hey, what are you doing? On top of her like y'all playing some football. Come on now. I was showing the site to the wifey the other day, legit, and I said, look at what these guys are offering here. Like,
these are really, really good. Damn good prices too. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, damn good prices. I was seeing shirts with some really cool stuff on them. From some scenes from some of your favorite movies. I know they got some Deadpool and Wolverine merch that's on there. We're talking like, I know for sure under $20, but I thought I saw some really cool shirt designs for as low as like $15, $16. So I remember saying to wifey, yo, I'm gonna, when I get paid, I'm gonna actually get some merch off of them. These guys are I love them. So definitely check them out. Again, all things urban, anime, video games, pop culture, clothing and accessories. Right now, they got a sale going on where you can get 10% off all items in their store. That's good all the way through August. Streetfits.printify.me. Check them out. Love those guys. The RCWR show with Lee Sanders is also brought to you in part by our good friends over at Axiom of Alchemy. Make sure you check out the website. Check out their store as well. Shout out to my guys over at cannaglobe.biz//sweet sensations. If you're interested in running your own cannabis dispensary, but need help with the costs and licensing, you can get everything set up for just about $500, if not a little less. Everything on the up and up too. Check them out at cannaglobe.biz//sweet sensations, or give them a call at area code 702-767-0683. Hello, cutie butt. I got Holly trying to climb up on my lap going, what's up, daddy? Nothing much, just chilling, just showing some love to our sponsors. Shout out to the good kind people at Top Tier Financial Group, toptierfinancialgroup.com. Specialize in tax preparation, wage garnishment, bank levies, tax lien, audit, representation, bookkeeping. Put their 15 years of knowledge and experience in the tax industry of good use. Hey, shout out to my friends over at ancientsupplements.store. If you are looking for natural ingredients, definitely supplemental vitamins that are not artificial, doesn't have those harmful additives, made in the USA, manufactured in the USA. You feel like supporting a local business. That also gives you 100% money back guarantee if you're not completely satisfied. Check out my people over at ancientsupplements.store. Last but not least, shout out to my friends over at the Orange and Blue Glory. Can you say Orange and Blue Glory? You can say TREATS though, can you? You know that when you hear it. If I actually say the word, boy, do they go bonkers. Shout out to my friends over at the Orange and Blue Glory. If you are a diehard Florida Gators fan, bleed orange and blue. Check out Orange and Blue Glory. Check out their Facebook community page, celebrating every touchdown, victory, every moment of Gator greatness. Love those guys. Love all of our sponsors. Again, without them, content like what you're checking out right now would not be made possible. Want you guys to enjoy the weekend. Going to be a nice good weather out there. Get at your man on social media. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. Till next go round, my pretty babies. Wishing all y'all be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. See y'all next go round. Adios, y'all. Take care.